Hey there everyone, this is Brian Pitzer with the Northern Angler Fly Shop in Traverse City, Michigan. Today, I'm going to go over some different rigs on how to set up a floating line and indicator system for migratory fish. So, here in Northern Michigan, we have a great run of coho salmon, king salmon, and steelhead. They come in starting in the next couple of weeks, and we've had a lot of questions on how do I rig up for these. So, we're going to do some how-to videos. We're going to pretend this is like a full-on floating line going to our rig. And we like an 8 to 10 weight rod for the king salmon and coho salmon. They're going to be running pretty big this year. But I'm going to start basically with a floating line with a loop end. And I don't have to be super fancy when it comes to setting up on my leader or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take basically a straight 20-pound test, and the depth of the river that I'm going to be fishing in, the deepest hole is going to be about this deep. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to set it up for about that depth. So knowing where you're going to fish really comes in handy. The more concise you can make this rig and smaller for like pocket water and that sort of thing, the easier it is going to be for you to cast. So we want to use something really stiff on this butt section. So this nice, really stiff kind of line that's going to turn over our rig, because we're going to add weight and a float to this as well. So I'm just going to loop to loop this right to the end of my fly line. And this is basically going to be the length of my rig going down where my indicator is going to slide up and down. So from here, I'm just going to go ahead and add a barrel swivel to the bottom of this. And this is the part of the rig I don't want to have to mess around with a whole lot. But before I add that barrel swivel, what I'm going to do something a little bit different here. We love these thingamabobs. These are great. The big downfall with a thingamabob, when you put it on for a migratory fish, fishing them in small water, is the regular way to rig these, it's fixed. So if I have to reel down past this, I could break my rod tip. I'm going to set this up so this bobber, this thingamabobber will slide. And how I'm going to do that is I'm simply going to use float stops. And you could do this for many different types of floats or indicators, like the little Drennan floats we use, but this is just a great clean way to work this rig. So I'm going to run some float stops on it, and basically all I need to do is put one on either side of my thingamabob. And these come in a nice little pack. You simply slide the line in through here and grab hold of this loop and pull it right off of there. And that's going to leave this little stop right here. And I can adjust this. So I'm going to run my stop up to my floating line. And I can run my rig, my thingamabob, or any type of float that I choose, right up to that. And I'm going to put one on the bottom. So again, I just run this through here, slide one of the bobber stops off, pull that through, and it's on the line. Now I can slide this right down, and my float is fixed. Really nice, very simple design, doesn't kink your line, great way to do this. If you have a big fish that takes you through a log jam, this will slide, so that does really help a lot of times. So now I have my float or my indicator in place. I'm going to go ahead and add my swivel, and the swivel is going to be used for a couple of reasons. One, keep my line from twisting up. Two, I'm going to place my split shot above my swivel so it doesn't slide down onto my flies. So I'm just going to trim this tag in here, and so far my whole rig's going to kind of look like this. Then I'm going to add some typically like B or BB size split shot, and this is going to help get my rig down. Don't use your teeth. really bad for your teeth. But I chewed on a lot of paint when I was a kid, so this lead's probably not going to hurt me. And I might add 3, 4, 5, whatever, little split shot. And I'll space them out a little bit along here. And once I get them kind of pinched on, I'm going to go through with my hemostats and secure them onto this line. This technique it works really well for smaller rivers, deep pockets. You want this rig to kind of get down, present itself immediately to the fish that are in a hole or in a run. So I'm going to kind of space these apart, and I could keep going up, so it depends on how deep, how fast the current is. But I'm just going to secure these with my hemostats and just kind of tighten them up a little bit. We're trying to make these as quick and concise for you as possible. We know your time's valuable. So again, this is kind of my rig right here as it sits. And I can adjust my float just by sliding that up and down with the bobber stops, with the float stops. And this is ready for me to now tie a fly onto. And I'm gonna go ahead and just run probably about that much mono, and I'm going to go ahead and tie this right onto my swivel. A lot of times if I'm running an indicator rig, I'm only going to run one fly until I become very proficient at it, because the frustration level with running 2 flies and getting your rig tangled up, because you're going to be doing a lot of roll casting, in some of the big overhand open loop casts. I want to make sure I don't tangle this rig every time. So I think, starting out, don't try 2 flies with this. You can work up to that if you want to. But underneath my float, I'm going to run a fly about that far. And depending on time of the season, like say it's closer to like winter time, I'm going to run something maybe with a little bit bigger profile that they can see. Not a lot of food in the system, so maybe like a larger yarn egg. So like one of these big clown eggs, always a fun, tasty treat for the fish. And I just run this up here, and I'm fishing anywhere from 6 pound to 10 pound below that swivel, depending on what I'm going after, water clarity and whatnot. So basically, you're going to end up with your indicator, some weight with a swivel down to a fly. And the idea behind this rig is we want it to be on the surface of the water where it is suspended just above the bottom of the river, and we're kind of coming down like this in front of the fish, pretty near the bottom. This is also a great way if the fish are suspended to suspend that rig so they can see it. Thanks for checking us out here at thenorthernangler.com. If you have questions, give us a call, drop us an email. Flyshop@thenorthernangler.com is our email address. And check us out on the web at www.northernangler.com. Thanks.